All right, today we're diving into the Expert Teacher's Toolkit. We're going to break down some of the most practical, powerful strategies out there for teaching English. So let's just get right into it.
So, what's the deal? What really separates a good teacher from a truly great one? Is there some kind of magic formula? A secret ingredient that makes a lesson, well, unforgettable?
Well, the good news is it's not magic at all. Great teaching really just comes down to having a well-stocked toolkit, a set of proven strategies that you could pull out at exactly the right moment. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to start stocking up that toolkit.
Okay, so first things first, let's start with the absolute fundamentals. These are the tools that really set the stage for everything else you do in the classroom.
All right, first up, you've got to master your stage. It doesn't matter what you use to present, a simple whiteboard, a fancy interactive board, or a projector. You need to know it inside and out. Come on, we've all seen it happen. A teacher fumbling with technology or just using a board in a messy way, it can totally derail a lesson before it even gets going.
And look, don't just brush this off as, oh, it's just a whiteboard. As this veteran teacher points out, it's really not that simple. How you organize stuff on the board, your handwriting, even how you stand so you're not blocking it, it all matters. Knowing your tools builds confidence, and your students can feel it.
Okay, the second huge piece of the foundation is all about feedback. It is so easy to just correct errors on instinct, right? You hear a mistake, you jump in. But the expert move is what we call correction by design. This means you actually have a plan. Are you going to gently rephrase what a student said, or are you going to give an explicit correction? And when do you do it? Thinking about this stuff ahead of time turns a simple reaction into a powerful teaching moment.
All right, so we've got our foundation solid. Now let's get to the really fun stuff. Some dynamic techniques that get multiple skills firing at once and really bring the language to life for your students.
Have you ever heard of Dictogloss? This thing is a powerhouse, and honestly, so many teachers don't even know about it. You can forget that old-school boring dictation. This is a collaborative, energetic activity that gets the whole class listening, writing, speaking, and thinking critically all at the same time. Think about it. The process itself is this incredible workout for all their language skills. First, they're listening for the big picture and grabbing keywords. Then, they're in groups actually talking and negotiating with each other to rebuild the text. And finally, they're analyzing the grammar and vocabulary when they compare it to the original. It's an amazing all-in-one technique.
Whoa, what an opening line, right? That immediately grabs you. This is the hook from a real story a teacher uses in class, and it introduces our next tool, the absolute power of storytelling.
But here's the magic trick. The story isn't just for fun. The real teaching, the deep learning, happens after the story is told. You get the students to become detectives, to break it down, analyze the verb tenses, the cool vocabulary. And then, the best part, you give them that framework and say, okay, now it's your turn. Tell your story. It's personal, it's meaningful, and it's just an incredibly effective way to teach.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a really unique environment, the young learner classroom. The whole vibe in there is different, which means you're going to need a few different tools in your toolkit. This, right here, is one of the biggest mindset shifts you can make. So many teachers, especially new ones, feel this immense pressure to be an entertainer for little kids. And yeah, fun is important, but your most essential, most critical role is to be the adult in the room. You are the grown-up who creates structure, safety, and a real learning environment. And just to be clear, being the adult doesn't mean you have to be boring or super strict. Not at all. It just means you take classroom management seriously. It means you are actively helping shape their behavior and their attitude toward learning. You're not just teaching them English, you're teaching them how to be a student.
All right, we've talked about the stage, the strategy, some killer techniques. But this last tool, this one is the ultimate game changer. This one piece of advice can totally transform the way you teach.
So picture this. You just finished a lesson, you think it went great, the energy was high, students were talking. Then your boss, the director of studies, comes up and asks you this one simple question. And for the teacher in this story, it hits him. The answer was me. I was asking all the questions.
And that is the big shift. It's the whole game. Your job isn't to be the only one asking questions in the classroom. Your goal, your mission, is to create a classroom where the students are the ones asking the questions, to you, and even more importantly, to each other. You can't overstate how huge this one little change is. As the teacher said, it had an amazing effect.
Because when students start asking the questions, they take ownership. They get curious. The classroom just comes alive in a whole new way. It becomes their learning, not just your teaching.
So there you have it. That's a great starting point for your expert toolkit. We've covered some really powerful stuff, so let's just do a super quick recap.
We started with the foundations, mastering your stage and having a plan for correction. Then we moved on to those awesome holistic techniques like dictogloss and storytelling. And we finished with what might be the biggest tool of all, flipping the script and getting your students to be the ones driving the curiosity. These are some fantastic tools to get you started on that path to expert teaching. So the big question for you is, which one are you going to try first? What's the next tool you're going to master and add to your own personal teaching toolkit?